is going on, guys? The Inside the Boot podcast, and today we have our playoff predictions. Last year, we were totally wrong with our picks, but hey, it's all about having fun and trying to pick some upsets, and of course, get as many picks as I can correctly. But, like I said, these videos do really well. The last one did really well. This is our second time doing it on the channel. So, let's get right into it. But let's talk about the teams that are, of course, in the playoffs. And the byes, Chiefs and Lions, they both had great seasons. Lions just beat up the Vikings, too, which was a huge win, which actually solidified their number one seed. And for the Chiefs, I mean, they just ran over people. But there's definitely an argument that a lot of those wins may have had some help from the defense, and it was not all Patrick Mahomes. Regardless, they're the number one seed, and if you told me that at the start of the year that these two teams were going to be the number one seeds, I wouldn't call you crazy. I think this year, I really like the playoff teams that are in it, right? But let's get into the AFC first. Let's talk about the teams before we make any picks. And Texans against Chargers, right? With the Texans, I feel like they're the team out of all these teams that are like, if there's a team that might get blown out, it might be the Texans or the Broncos, in my opinion. But the Broncos, they have a good defense. So, Ravens, Steelers, that's a divisional matchup that's in their first round. Of course, the Ravens gave the Steelers a beating in their first their end meeting. Rams and Vikings, I think this one's going to be pretty intriguing, right? The Rams have a good offense. Their defense is going to be what it comes down to. And for the Vikings, right, you just got blown out by the Lions. You want to get some revenge, and taking your aggression out on the LA Rams could be it. And also with the Rams, I'm interested to see what they do with this defense. But for the Vikings too, Sam Darnold needs to play good. Baker Mayfield against Jaden Daniels, another good matchup. And for the Eagles and Packers, right, Jalen Hurts is concussed, and there's some injuries. Christian Watson's done, and for Jalen Hurts, he's concussed. Jordan Love I think he's playing through an injury, and Christian Watson's out. Jair Alexander is out. So, without being so talkative before these picks, let's get into them. So, I'm probably going to put at the top of the screen when I actually start making these picks for you guys, because I don't want you guys to just sit there and not have anything to look at. So, Texans taking on the Chargers for our first matchup. We're going to do the AFC first, and then we're going to do the NFC. And I'm going to take the Chargers, man. I'm really liking what Jim Harbaugh is doing in Los Angeles. And with the Texans, it's so unfortunate because Tank Dell is injured. Stephon Diggs is injured. Like, they have so many injuries. And C.J. Stroud is going to be taking on a very solid Chargers team going into it. But like, the Chargers, I think they're a good sleeper team. Unfortunately, if they do win, they have to take on the Chiefs. But I'm going to take the Chargers here for our first pick. Our second pick, and honestly, if I'm going to make a lock, it's the Baltimore Ravens to beat up on the Steelers. I've been saying that this Steelers team offense is not good. And I know the Steelers have a future with Russell Wilson. It seems like they want to keep Russell Wilson as their quarterback. Russell Wilson doesn't have it. And this Baltimore team with Derrick Henry, Lamar, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, a good offensive line, good defense. I can't see a world where the Steelers even come close to this. And I'm gonna take the Baltimore Ravens to win and move on. Buffalo Bills against the Broncos. I know a lot of people love the Bills in this. And I do have them winning, but let me get this out of the way. The Broncos have a very good defense. So I could really see this game really being closer than maybe people imagine. And I know Bo Nix, rookie quarterback, going into Buffalo. I don't know what the weather's going to be, but honestly, I probably expect some snow. But the Bills are the better football team. But in terms of you guys making picks, I think the Broncos can make it close because their defense, they don't allow the quarterback to really rush out of the pocket, and that's what Josh Allen loves to do. Right? He likes to use his legs, And, of course, he has a gunslinger of an arm, but we'll see with that. So, I'm going to get into the NFC now since we just got the first few picks out of the way for the AFC, and then we'll come back to the AFC Championship and all that and the NFC. So, Rams taking on the Vikings. Vikings just lost a big game, which actually is the reason why they're playing at the LA Rams place. The Rams beat them earlier in the year, 30-20. Regular season doesn't mean anything. Say what you want. It doesn't mean anything. Kevin O'Connell, probably the coach of the year. And the thing with this Vikings team is it comes down to Sam Darnold, man. He needs to play way better than he did against the Detroit Lions. And I'm going to take the... Man, this one's such a tough pick because you could really go either way with the Rams or Vikings. I know the Rams are the 4 seed and the Vikings are the 5 seed, but I think if the Rams do find a way to end up winning this game, I think it's an upset. And I guess I'm going to take an upset here. I'm going to take the LA Rams defeating the Vikings and the Vikings season unfortunately ending. Listen, it's a toss-up in my opinion. If you think the Vikings are going to win and you have another matchup, so be it. I'm going to take the Rams again. I think their offense is very good, and I know the defense has been good for the Vikings. But, hey, I got to take an underdog, and I'm going to take the LA Rams as my underdog pick. Commanders taking on the Buccaneers. Jaden Daniels against Baker Mayfield is going to be a very fun matchup. Jaden Daniels loves to use his legs. We saw him rush for, I think, 80-plus rushing yards in the game against the Falcons. I think that's the big thing the Bucs are going to be targeting is making sure that Jaden Daniels stays in that pocket. Vita Vea is a beast. They have good players on that Bucs team, and I think they're going to be too much for this Washington Commanders team. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, they're going to be throwing the football well. Bucky Irving in the backfield. And a bunch of good players on both sides, right? I mean, the Commanders, a shocking team, in my opinion, going into the playoffs with Jaden Daniels. We didn't know what type of season they were going to be. We had Dan Quinn as his head coach, and Cliff Kingsbury has his offense rolling. So, I'm going to take the Buccaneers in this one. And another tough matchup, in my opinion, the Eagles against the Packers. And say what you want. As of now, Jalen Hurts is still in concussion protocol. The problem is, and it's really the main reason why I'm going to take Philadelphia here, is you got to take on Saquon Barkley and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown. So, if you're the Packers, you either stack the box and have to worry about Saquon, and then you're really putting a lot of pressure on those cornerbacks with defending A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, all those guys, and then with Saquon, the guy's a dual threat. I know he doesn't have like elite receptions this year, but he can catch the football. He could run, he could rush for 80 yards in this game and catch 100, have 100 receiving yards. So I'm gonna take the Buccaneers here in this one, and let's get back to the AFC, and we got to talk about Mr. Patrick Mahomes taking on the LA Chargers. AFC West matchup. Now, here's the thing, right? I understand Chiefs coming off a bye. They could be coming off a bye or could be playing in the first round. If there is something that I've learned about this Chiefs team and all the noise about, they need the refs to help them, it's scripted, all of that, it's hard to bet against the Chiefs, right? And with all of that adding up with, the refs and everything, like, to me, it's tough. I think. I mean, like, the Chargers are great and all, but I just can't bet against Patrick Mahomes right now. And I know Rashee Rice is out. He's been out for a while. But, like, this Chiefs team with Travis Kelce, who's really been getting a lot more receptions, a lot more yards. Isaiah Pacheco, I still think he has another motor. I know he's coming off that major injury, so he could be really utilized in the backfield a ton. The Chiefs love giving it to Noah Gray. I mean, that guy always somehow finds the end zone. And Xavier Worthy, really explosive wide receiver. And this defense with Steve Spagnuolo is elite. They're really good. And we'll see what Justin Herbert does. I mean, Justin Herbert, don't discredit him. He's a great quarterback and an elite player. And it's one of the main reasons why they're in this spot. So I'm going to take the Chiefs. And now probably the game of the year. Probably the biggest game for both of these teams. Buffalo Bills, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Ravens, Bills, all that. I guess this game really decides who is the true MVP. In my opinion. I still think it's Josh Allen. Whether he wins this game or he does not. And if they're telling me something, it's Josh Allen in the playoffs. That's a bad man. And for the Ravens, I mean, I like the Ravens a lot, right? With the Derrick Henry signing, him and Lamar Jackson are a huge 1-2 punch that you can do with both of those guys. I think this Bills team has so much going for them. On paper, in terms of talent, they probably have less talent, especially in the wide receiver core. I think Zay Flowers is good. Amari Cooper is great too. I mean, for the Buffalo Bills to win this football game, you know you have to spread out the field at a big rate, right? You need to get Shakir in the back and involved a lot. You need to get Cooper, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, all of those guys. You need to get involved a lot and against this Ravens team, and I think it's just gonna be a little bit too much for this Ravens team, and I think the Bills are going to get it, and you're going to get another Josh Allen taking on Patty Mahomes. Now, getting into the next round, we got the Buccaneers taking on the Bucks. Buccaneers taking on the Eagles, sorry, and the LA Rams taking on the Detroit Lions. So, something tells me, let's get into the Lions game first. Against the LA Rams. These two teams played last year in the playoffs. It was a close game. Rams taking on the Lions. Stafford against Goff, the big trade that happened a few years ago. And listen, I love Matt Stafford, and I love this Rams team a lot. If I'm high on the Rams, if I'm one of the more guys that is high on the Rams, I am, because I like this wide receiver core. I know Cooper Kupp is, iffy, but Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Stafford, Sean McVay in general, they're a good football team. But the Lions, man, no matter they got 10 guys out or they're fully healthy, they're a damn good football team, man. And I really, really love what Dan Campbell's doing for that organization. They have a great team. Now, I told you earlier that I love upsets, because I do. I love when it's not always the 1-2 against 1-2. Now, it's a little bit different here because we have the 2-3 left. Because we didn't have the Packers winning, and we didn't have the Commanders winning. And the Vikings. So, we technically, in terms of 4, 5, and seeding, we picked all the favorites. But the Vikings losing to the Rams, I think that's an upset. I do. But speaking of upsets, I'm going to take the Buccaneers. And I'm going to tell you why. This Buccaneers team, and I know I said earlier that regular season don't mean anything, but I feel like when I see this type of stat, when I see 0 passing yards through 2 quarters, I know that's a damn good Bucs team. And with Jalen Hurts having that concussion, an injury, it's hard for me to bet against. I mean, the Buccaneers are a great run defense, and they got some good guys on in the passing game that can, guard A.J. Brown and guard Devontae Smith. And I think I just like the Bucs a little bit more here. And I think especially, they beat the Commanders at home. They got a lot of momentum. Eagles taking on a banged-up Packers team. I think the Bucs are a very solid football team. I'm going to say that right now. And I know everyone's looking at it like, Vin, are we about to get Patrick Mahomes again in the playoffs and into the Super Bowl? For me, it's so tough when I make playoff predictions and bet against Patrick Mahomes because, like, I view it like so much, like, with all the media and all the drama, like, it seems to me like Roger Goodell wants a three-peat for the Chiefs so bad because it's never happened. And with that being said, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills. Going to take the Buffalo Bills. All right, I know everyone's probably thinking Vin's going to take them. Vin's going to take the Chiefs. I'm not going to take them. Not going to take them. Nope. And with the Bills being in, you got to go with the Detroit Lions as well. The Lions are just... I know the Lions lost to the Buccaneers in the regular season. But I think with all the momentum the Lions have and what Dan Campbell can do to a team, they got all this trickery and all this. I think Baker Mayfield can easily make this game close. But I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions. All right. Lions taking on the Buffalo Bills. Let me tell you something. I think this is what everybody wants. Nobody wants to see the Chiefs. People are so high on this Lions football team. Because think about it. We don't know if Ben Johnson's going to be back. We don't know if their defensive coordinator is going to be back. If there's a year that the Detroit Lions are going to win this year, it's this year. So give me the Detroit Lions to be the Super Bowl champions and for Dan Campbell to get his first ring for the Detroit Lions as a head coach. And now, you know what? How many total points are going to be scored in this game? Well, I'm going to say this. I could definitely see 20 plus from both of these teams. I mean, when they played each other, they were going shot after shot, point after point after point, field goal, all of that. So you know what? I'm going to go with just doing the calculations in my head. I think it's going to be another shootout and what we want. We want a damn shootout. We want these teams going head to head. Let's go with... Oh, man. It's so tough to pick. But I'm going to go with 51 total points. 51 total points. And that's going to do it. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I guess a quick recap. Chiefs, Bills for your AFC Championship. Lions taking on the Buccaneers. Eagles go down. Rams go down. Vikings in the first round. Shocking pick in my opinion. I think the Vikings can get it done. But hey, I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the Detroit Lions, taking on Matt Stafford, and the Lions getting it done. Vikings lose, Commanders lose, Packers lose, all of that. Broncos, Steelers, Chiefs, all that. Lions are gonna win the Super Bowl, and that's gonna do it. Let me know your thoughts below. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.